In this presentation, we're going to show you how to use Gmail and its filtering and labels features to keep track of emails from different universities that you're applying to during the admissions process. This can help you make sure that you don't overlook any important messages that come from the universities. It's also important that you keep these emails out of your spam folders. So sit back and watch what we're going to do here, and then I encourage you to set up a Gmail account if you don't already have one and implement some of these features for yourself. Let's get started. First of all, we've got a standard Gmail account. This is my Gmail account, my personal Gmail account. And you can see I've got a lot of emails in the inbox. First thing we're going to notice here is that some of them have extra labels on them. Now this is something that is not set up by default with Gmail, but you can make it do lots of different things. You can label things in any way that you want. So let's take a look at how you do that. I'll explain why it's important in a couple of minutes. Let me show you now how to mark an incoming message using the filters feature in Gmail. And this is the way to automatically assign every incoming message that you get to the proper label. Now I don't have any messages from a university, so I'm going to use sample messages from LinkedIn. I'm active on LinkedIn and I have a lot of things coming from them. So I'm going to show you how to create a label. You could do this for any university and use the university's name as the name of the label. How do you do that? I'm going to select a message from the place that I want to create a filter for. On the right side, I'm going to click this drop-down box and hit Filter Messages like this. Now it automatically finds all messages that are from this specific email address. But I don't just want anything from that email address. I want anything from linkedin.com completely. I don't just want anything from this specific message, this specific email. I want anything that comes from this entire domain. So for you it might be anything that comes from the school's URL, like at ucsd.edu. Down at the bottom I'll create a filter with this search. About the fourth option down is Apply the Label. You get to choose your label, and don't worry if you didn't already create a label, that's fine. You can create one here automatically. I'm going to choose New Label and type in LinkedIn. You can choose to organize your labels kind of in a folder system where some labels belong under other labels. That's a bit more than you need at this stage during the application process, so I don't recommend using it. It's possible that later you might reorganize your labels and find a use for that, but at this stage it's fine just to have an ordinary label. It doesn't have to be nested under anything. So I'll hit Create. Now I have a label created. You can see at the top of the page I've gotten a confirmation message. Now down here at the bottom, this is important to check. I'm going to apply this filter to all the matching conversations. If you've already been in email contact with universities, then you already have messages coming in from them. And that's how you will catch all of the background messages that you might have gotten. Perhaps you signed up for an email newsletter a year ago and you've been getting those messages. This should go back and catch all of those that come from the URL that you've specified. At ucsd.edu was our example. Now hit Create Filter. Okay, at the top of the page your filter was created. Now you can see up near the top of the message that there is a new label shown here, and it's the LinkedIn label that we just created. Google automatically labels things with inbox or social updates or promotions, but this is the way to show up in this particular folder, under this particular label. Now one of the nice things about using the labels is once you open a message, let's say you get a message back from a faculty member that you're talking to or you've got questions from, but he doesn't respond to your original question. He writes you a brand new message and you think, oh gosh, what did I ask him? So what you can do is to click on this tag or this label, and it will search for all messages that match it. So everything that is in your Gmail account that has been labeled this way will show up here. Okay, now that's how you create a label and implement it from a message. Now what if you don't have any contact with the university, but you're about to, and you just want to be organized before you start contacting them? Well, the way to set up a filter after creating a label is to go over here. I'll show you creating a label. Click on the gear, then go down to Settings. You can see Labels is the number 2 section on the Settings tab. And to create a label, you go all the way to the bottom, under Labels, Create New Label. I'm going to create a label for UCLA, UC Los Angeles, create. There's a confirmation at the top of the page that the label was created. Now I'm going to create a filter. It's the 5th item over, right here, filters. I have a lot of filters. I use this to keep my inbox organized and to allow me to quickly find information related to various topics. So I'll go down to the bottom of my page, and there it is, create a new filter. I'm going to create a filter for any messages that are from at ucla.edu. At the bottom here, create a filter with this search. I have a few items that have come up on this search. I'm going to apply the label to it, UCLA. Okay, now don't worry if you don't have a label created already. You could do the filter first and create the label at the same time. That's a little bit more efficient and uses less steps. Now I'm going to apply that filter to all of the conversations that came up in this search. As I said, I have a few that have come up. Create filter, and at the top of the page I get a confirmation message that it has been created. It takes you back to the filter screen so you can continue setting up a filter for each and every university that you're applying to. Now I like to see my labels with different colors to represent different things. Maybe my number 1 choice of university gets a special color and everybody else is colored the same. I'll show you how to do that here too. Your labels can't be edited for color here in this tab. You actually have to go over to the left sidebar, find the label that you want, and then on the right side you can establish a color that it is assigned to. You can see down here I have a red color assigned to UCSD. Click on this character to bring up your menu. Go to the top under the label color and then select a color. You'll get a confirmation at the top. The color for label UCSD, the color for label UCLA was adjusted. So now when you look in your inbox and you get emails from UCSD or UCLA or George Washington University or any schools that you might be applying to, you can have a different color show up to easily see if you have new messages from these schools. Automatically assigning the label and using these filters will help you keep track of all these different messages, whether it's a message about the deadlines or it's a response from an admissions officer or a faculty member that you've reached out to with questions, or if it's something really, really important like notice of your I-20 if you're an international student. All these things are quite critical, so you don't want to miss anything. Be sure that you set up your Gmail account with filters and labels so you can keep yourself organized and don't miss anything. It's way too important. Be sure to leave a comment below with any questions that you've got. Let us know if this was helpful for you, and we'll put out some more videos that show you how to use Google's products to keep yourself organized during the university application process.